Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a loop of self-doubt? Like no matter what you achieve, there's a little voice in your head telling you it's not good enough or that you were just lucky? If you've ever felt like an imposter, waiting to be found out, then I want you to listen closely. Because today, we're going to talk about a silent habit that is secretly draining your confidence day by day. It's not about what you're doing, but what you're thinking. It's the habit of negative self-talk. Think about it. If you had a friend who followed you around all day, constantly pointing out your flaws, criticizing your decisions, and reminding you of every mistake you've ever made, how long would you keep them around? Probably not very long, right? So why do we allow that voice to live inside our own heads? This internal critic is one of the biggest thieves of our self-worth. It operates silently, in the background of our thoughts, but its impact is enormous. It convinces us we aren't smart enough for that promotion, brave enough to start that new project, or interesting enough to speak up in a meeting. This habit often starts small. Maybe it was a critical comment from a teacher years ago, or a feeling of not fitting in during your childhood. Over time, we internalize these external voices, and they become our own. We start to believe them. We replay our mistakes over and over, focusing on what went wrong instead of what went right. We compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel on social media and inevitably feel like we're falling short. This constant cycle of negative self-evaluation is exhausting, and it keeps us from seeing our true potential. It's like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. You might move forward a little, but you're working against a constant internal resistance. So, what is this specific silent habit that underpins all of this negativity? It's the habit of disqualifying the positive. This is when something good happens, and instead of accepting it and letting it boost your confidence, you immediately find a reason to dismiss it. Did you get a compliment on your work? You might think, oh, they're just being nice. Did you successfully complete a difficult task? Your inner voice might say, well, anyone could have done that, it was just luck. You essentially act as a lawyer arguing against your own success. You gather evidence to prove you're not as good as you seem, while ignoring all the evidence to the contrary. This habit is incredibly sneaky because it masquerades as humility or realism. You might think you're just being modest by downplaying your achievements. But what you're actually doing is training your brain to ignore your strengths and successes. Imagine your confidence is a bucket. Every time you achieve something, you have an opportunity to add a little water to that bucket. But when you disqualify the positive, you're poking a hole in the bottom of the bucket. No matter how much positive reinforcement you receive from the outside world, you'll never feel full or confident because you're constantly letting it leak out. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You believe you're not good enough, so you act in ways that reflect that belief, which then reinforces the original negative thought. The first step to breaking this cycle is awareness. You can't change a habit you don't know you have. So for the next week, I want you to become a detective of your own thoughts. Carry a small notebook or use the Notes app on your phone. Every time you catch yourself downplaying a compliment, dismissing a success, or chalking up an achievement to pure luck, write it down. Just notice it, without judgment. The goal here isn't to beat yourself up for having these thoughts. It's simply to bring them into the light. You might be shocked at how often you're doing it. Once you become aware of this pattern, the next step is to challenge it. When that inner critic starts to speak, don't just accept what it says. Question it. If you get a compliment and your first thought is, they're just being polite, stop and ask yourself, is that really true? What if they genuinely mean it? What if I actually did a good job? You don't have to instantly believe the positive, but you do have to start questioning the negative. This is about introducing a more balanced perspective. Instead of automatically dismissing your success, try to find one piece of evidence that supports it. For example, maybe they are being nice, but I also did spend a lot of time on that presentation, so it's possible it really was good. Now let's talk about a powerful technique to actively build your confidence back up. It's called creating a brag file or a success log. This can be a digital document, a physical journal, or even a jar where you put little notes. Every single day, I want you to write down at least one thing you did well. It doesn't have to be a huge, life-changing achievement. It could be as simple as, I made a healthy breakfast, or I finally replied to that difficult email, or I was patient in traffic today. The key is to acknowledge your small wins. By doing this, you are actively training your brain to look for the positive. You are gathering concrete evidence of your competence and capability. Then, when you're having a bad day, when that inner critic is screaming at you, open your success log. Read through your past achievements. This isn't about being arrogant, it's about reminding yourself of the truth. It's a tangible reminder that you are capable, that you do succeed, and that you have strengths. This practice directly counteracts the habit of disqualifying the positive. Instead of dismissing your wins, you are celebrating them, documenting them, and using them as fuel. Over time, this shifts your entire mindset. Your default setting will slowly change from self-criticism to self-compassion and self-recognition. Breaking the habit of negative self-talk isn't an overnight fix. It's a practice, like learning an instrument or a new language. You'll have good days and bad days. Some days that inner critic will be loud and it will be hard to fight back. And that's okay. The goal isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts forever. That's impossible. The goal is to change your relationship with them. It's about recognizing that a thought is just a thought. It's not a fact. You have the power to choose which thoughts you give your energy to. You can choose to stop feeding the critic and start nurturing your inner champion. Start today. Notice your thoughts. Challenge the negativity. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. By consistently practicing these steps, you will slowly but surely reclaim your confidence. You'll start to see yourself not as an imposter, but as the capable, worthy, and resilient person you truly are. You'll stop waiting for external validation and start building your own unshakable foundation of self-worth. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this has been helpful. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on building confidence and living a more fulfilling life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small win you can celebrate today? Let's build each other up. See you in the next video.